Hello, welcome back to Statistics and Mathematics YouTube channel. Today we are going to start our studies on sample size for proportion. To find the sample size needed to determine a confidence interval about the population proportion, we use this formula. N is equal to the p hat times q hat times z subscript alpha divided by 2 divided by e all squared. Right? So for the answer, when you get this answer, it will be very necessary for you to run it to the whole number because you are calculating for the number of sample size. The number of sample size cannot be given in decimal place, right? So you have to run it to the nearest whole number. So question 1, it says a researcher wishes to estimate with 90% confidence the proportion of people who own a house computer. A previous study showed that 40% of those interviewed had a computer at home. The researcher wishes to be accurate within 2% of the true proportion. Find the minimum sample size, right? We know that our minimum sample size can be calculated using this formula. So right now what we need is our P, our Q, z subscript alpha divided by 2, and our E. Our P inside the question, P hat is equal to our X divided by N, right? P hat is equal to X divided by N. But in the question, we are not giving our X, we are not giving our N. So how will you get our P hat? Our P hat was given inside the question that in the previous study shows that 40% of those interviewed had computer at home. So our P hat will be given as what? 0.4. So if you want our Q hat, our P hat will be 0.4. Q hat will be 0.6. Since you are going to subtract 0.4 from 1 to get 0.16 for our Q. So that's our P hat and our Q hat. Then our E was also given inside the question that the researcher wishes to be accurate within 2% of the true proportion, right? So here our margin of error will be given as 0.02 or 2%. So that will be our margin of error. So we are left with our z subscript alpha divided by 2, and then we have been given the confidence interval to be c to be equal to 0.99. That's 90%. So our alpha will be given as 0.01, right? So here we'll be giving z subscript alpha divided by 2, which will be 0.01 divided by 2, of which we are going to get z subscript 0.05, right? So 0.05, you subtract the whole of this one from 1, we are going to get z subscript 0.995, of which you are going straight to the z table, locate this probability on the z table, trace it to the top and down, and get our z score, of which when you do it well, we are going to get 2.58 for our z score. Please, I have done videos on how to calculate for our z score in this my channel, right? So kindly go back and then watch that videos on how to find z subscript alpha divided by 2, how to find our z score when our probability is being given to us. So I'll put the link on the description section below for you to have access to that. So you are going to get 2.58, right, for our when our confidence interval is 99. You are going to get 2.5. So right now we have our z subscript 0.995 to be 2.58. We have our E to be 0.02. We have our P to be 0.4. We have our Q to be 0.6. Right now what you do is you just substitute, right? So here we're getting 0.4 because right now our P hat, Q hat, z subscript alpha divided by 2, and E can be substituted as follows, right? Our P hat was given as 0.4, our Q hat was given as 0.6. We have 0.4 times 0.6 times 2.58 divided by 0.2 all squared. And when you multiply everything together, I'm going to get 3,993.84, right? So we just ran it to the nearest whole number to get 3,994 people, right, to do an interview. And then our next question is saying the same researcher wishes to estimate the proportion of the executives who owns a car phone. He wants to be 95% confidence and be accurate within 5% of true proportion. Find the minimum sample size. This question is a little bit very tricky, but it's very simple. You could see that no sample population proportion was given to us. And I told you from the beginning of this section that when we are treating the confidence interval, that when the sample population proportion sample proportion is given to you, please, we just assume that the sample proportion is given as 0.5, right? So here when you read the question, you see no sample proportion, right? So you assume that sample proportion is 0.05. If sample proportion is 0.5, then our KO2 will be given as 0.5, because you are going to subtract 0.5 from 1, which you are still going to get 0.5, right? So once you have 0.5, 0.5, our E was given inside the question to be 5%, and this 5% can be written as 0.05, and then our Z subscript, our C was given as 95%, our alpha will be given as 0.05, right? So we'll be having Z subscript, 0. Was this one will be divided by 2, 0.975. So this one, we are having this probability. Go straight to the Z to calculate for the Z score, of which I have done videos about that. So if you haven't watched it, I'll place a link in the description. Kindly tap and watch it and know how we calculate for our Z subscript alpha divided by 2 when our probability is being given to us, right? So when you calculate it very well, we are going to get 1.96 for the Z subscript alpha divided by 2. So right now we have our P to be 0.05, 0.5, our Q to be 0.5, our E to be we got our E to be 5%, which will give us 0.05, and our Z subscript alpha divided by 2 be 1.96. We just substitute it inside our formula to get this one. So here will be 0.5 times 0.5 times 1.96 divided by 0.5 all squared, which is equal to 384.16, right? Of which we will run it to get 385. So this is the end of calculating for what our sample size. So please kindly take your time and go through, right? Everything will be fine. If you are new to this my channel, please kindly like, share, comment, right, and subscribe so that this video will get to your friends. In our next video, we are going to treat what we call confidence interval for variance and standard deviation. So kindly stay tuned and then watch that video. Thank you for visiting my channel. Bye. Have a great day.